going to have any more money to give. The NCAA is going to be bled dry. Like, it's
Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Locker Talk. As you know, I am Des with Pretty Girls of Sports, and this is my weekly show where I get to come on here and talk all things sports, give you a little gossip, give you a little tea, and a lot of opinions. But I always come with the facts and knowing, okay? So this week we have a lot of the things to discuss. I know last week I did bring up a little bit of old news and things because I just had to get back into it. But this week we are hitting it full-fledged. And I got a lot to talk about in a little bit of time. I'm kidding. It's raining outside, so nothing else is happening tonight. But let's get into these topics. The first topic that I want to get into is all about HERstory. A'ja Wilson did win the WNBP award for the third time, and it was a unanimous vote. So how amazing and awesome is that for her to get that MVP? And rightfully so. She's been killing it. The first player to get to 1,000 points. She has made such a difference in the WNBA, and I love the fact that they're finally giving her the accolades and the flowers that she deserves because she's been doing so much for the league. She's rightfully so the face of the league, no matter who you ask. I don't care if you ask me or not. That's just my opinion. She is that girl, and I'm so happy to finally see her be able to get everything that she deserves. I've talked about her and I've loved on her since the very, very beginning. Not only because she's my soror and she's a part of the Gamecocks family, because y'all know I love my Gamecocks women's basketball, but just because she's an amazing person in and out. So I want to give big ups and congratulations to her. Of course, I had to start the show off with a big bang and a celebratory moment. So congrats to her. Now, more HERstory that we're going to get into is Sandra Douglas Morgan, the president of the Raiders, and Kristi Coleman, the president of the Panthers, made NFL history as they are the first two females to have a team play against each other within NFL franchises that have female presidents. The picture of them is absolutely lovely. The fact that they got game balls and it was really specific to them. I think that this was such a monumental part of NFL history because you really got to see women leadership. And it's even more touching for me because Sandra is a woman of color. So being able to really see her take that feel of being the president for the Raiders just made it was just so much more touching for me. And I really love being able to witness that firsthand. So that's what I got. Before I even get into the mess, I had to give big ups and shout outs and congratulations to the women who are trailblazing in this industry. I don't think that they get enough credit. I don't think they get enough flowers and accolades and just recognition. So, anytime I get to do that on this platform, that is exactly what I am going to do. Okay, moving on though, now we can get into the mess. Okay, we can get into the mess now, honey. So, expatriate Patrick PPP, and the PPP loans, I know y'all, okay, we're not going to get into it. But Patrick Pass was arrested for assault. Now, the story is alleged that he assaulted a man at the gym. Obviously, he was on the team. He played with Tom Brady. And you're probably wondering, like, why is this news? Because I report him every time. Well, almost every time. I try to keep up with it. Every time that an NFL player is in trouble for something. And assault is, I did the same thing with Rasheed Rice. When I found out that he was in trouble for assault, I called it out on the show because it's just something for us to talk about. That is absolutely crazy behavior. And I think that he needs to be checked out. And I don't mean that in any funny way, but assaulting a man at the gym, I want to get the full story on that. Like, why did this man do something to him? Did this man steal the treadmill? Did he steal the treadmill? He was like, you have taken it too far, my brother. This treadmill belongs to me. And if you don't want to get in line, I'm going to put you in line. And I'm going to go back to my days when I was playing with the Patriots. And I'm going to knock you over. And you're going to understand that you can't play with me because I'm not the one or the two. Okay? But that's all I'm gonna talk about there. I am gonna keep tabs, get the rest of this story because that was something. In other news, now this is some tea, y'all. Okay, now we all know that Brittney Renner is not a celebrity of sports. She's a celebrity of other things, and I do not talk about celebrities that are not related to sports in any way, as you all know. So she has a baby by PJ Washington, who now plays for the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm talking about her because she went online. She said that she converted her life to be to do more with religion, to be more modest, as a woman of Islam. And then she goes to say that she's broke. She doesn't know how she's going to take care of her kid. She doesn't know where she's going to live, what she's going to eat, all those things. And it's like, Brittney, don't you got a baby Zaddy who got some money? I mean, he is married now to his wife, Alicia. And Brittney was married to him too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, girl, what did you do? I mean, well, we know what she did. She got on the internet and bashed that man so bad. She drug him further than a dog would drag a piece of meat and a bone that they were trying to get back to their cage to eat. So we know what she did to him. She publicly embarrassed him, humiliated him. A lot of people said that she groomed him, all types of things. But it was really, really sad to see because they talk about the age gap between, you know, women of her stature and women that are like her. And, you know, as I talked about Dre and Michelle before, how people were upset about the age gap between them because PJ is still very, very young. And when they were together, but it's like you have a baby by a current, he still plays, NBA player. You better make some phone calls, take him down to the courthouse or whatever you need to do. Don't be telling us on the internet, because if we're being completely honest, there's something that we could do. I mean, unless people are gonna send her money, maybe that's why she made it say. I don't know. I am not sending you any coins or any money when you have a father who is actually able. I'm not sure if he's willing, but he's able. So I think you need to call him up and get off the internet. And I think that if you're trying to go a more modest way, putting that on the internet was not the way to do it in the first place. But, you know, she said she broke, y'all. She said she broke. Welcome to the real world with the rest of us who literally have to work 1, 2, 3, you know, plethora of jobs to make ends meet and to feed their kids and their families every day. So, yeah, welcome back to the real world. Now, again, welcome into the world. Last episode, I did say that Joy and Trevon Diggs welcomed their newest baby girl, and her name is Harlow Rose. Very, very, very cutesy, very respectable, very demure, you know, very, very, you know, very cute. Now, the tea for this is 2 different parts. So, as I told y'all, Joy had that baby. Her and Trevon Diggs are no longer together. She has 3 different babies by 3 different men of celebrity stature. One's the athlete and 2 are rappers. I was about to say Beyonce, child, not Beyonce, Bow Wow, Future, and now Trevon Diggs. And I seen a little clip that was like, well, you know, she said that she's not getting no, you know, she don't get no child support or anything from them in court, but best believe she's getting paid some type of way because she has to make a living some type of way. I understand y'all said that she got businesses and everything, but all we ever really see her do is, you know, take care of the kids, which is highly commendable because there's a lot of women like Yasmin Lopez that I've reported on before who do not take care of their kids, allegedly. Right? So she's taking care of the babies, beautiful children, very respectable children. In dance, because she was a dancer. She is a dancer, a very good dancer at that. Instagram, I don't understand the Instagram model thing because from what I understand, you're not getting paid off Instagram anymore. So it's kind of like, do we even call it Instagram model? I don't know. But she has, and she shows a very lavish lifestyle. So it's like, well, you may say that you don't get child support via the court, but I'm sure they're cutting the checks, right? And I don't want to see her be up on the internet how Brittney just was saying that she's broke. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. And I darn sure don't believe it. But the new tea on the block in this situation is that Trevon Diggs has moved on, honey. He has moved on. And he is with now India Love. I had to look at that twice because I was like, I know that India Royale, honey, because Schmirk ain't playing that. But India allegedly has been around the block. She is not new to this. She is very true to this. Her family had a reality TV show before in the past. She does her thing on Instagram, and she always gets the men's. Okay, she gets the men. She gets taken care of, and that's just how it is. But they spotted her out at the Dallas game, the home game. She was wearing this jersey. And the tea for real is that she was sitting with his mother. And you know, I would think that you wouldn't introduce every lady to your mom, because the person that meets your mom should be a little bit serious. And I would think that it couldn't have been that serious because you just had a baby. The baby's not even a month old. Maybe she's a month old. I'm not really sure, but she's not even 3 months old. I do know that. You just had the baby and you already got a new girlfriend that's out. Now, that's a mess. That is really, really some mess. And the thing is, we only knew that there was trouble in paradise because he didn't go to the first baby shower. She had 2 baby showers. The first one, he was not there, nowhere in sight. The second one, he showed up, gave her a little watch. We only seen a little glimpse of him. And that's when he gave her the watch. They kissed and everything. So we wasn't sure if they were together. They were breaking up. We don't know. And we don't know why she can't have to keep no man around every time she have a baby. Maybe because they don't want the kids. I'm not really sure. But, you know, beautiful girl, like, just do better. And now India is at the game just enjoying life, honey. And I hope and pray that she don't have no kid by this man, because he's got enough. Word on the street, okay? Allegedly. So I wish that we would have known more about the trouble in paradise. Maybe I got to do a little bit more digging for y'all, like I always do. But speaking of trouble in paradise, is Mahomes and Travis Kelce having an issue? Now, in press conference, you know, certain media is nosy, because if I was there, I would ask the same question, like, what's up with you and Travis? Y'all not having no chemistry? Like, he's really not playing that? Like, what's going on? And Patrick was like, you know, every time we play another team, they are doubling him, tripling him. So, like, he really can't get open because he's been covered. I'm not saying that's not the truth. But in the past 3 games, he's had 8 receptions, 69 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns, and he's averaging 8.6 yards per reception. That's not the Travis Kelce that helped you win the Super Bowl, or that's your go-to guy. Like, it's like, do we got more weapons and now we're just moving away from you, or like we're not cool right now, bro? So I don't want to do, like, what is the bromance problem? And you know, it's something that sticks out to us because we know how you all have been. I did see him go to Patrick Mahomes' birthday party. Taylor Swift was there as well. So it's kind of like, you know, but that could be anything. That could be saving face, you know. But I do feel as though the feud between the women, and now they have something going on, it could cause a little bit of a draft and everything. And that's why I told Brittney Mahomes, stay off the internet. Just stay off the internet, child. You don't need to talk to the internet. Okay? Just go do the Beyonce. And just don't talk to the internet unless it's absolutely positively necessary. Because y'all know Beyonce only come on the internet 2 or 3 times actively a year. And even then, she barely is talking to us, but she's selling us a product or giving us something or giving an update on her life. Something she is doing, you know? But she's not out here voicing her, you know, she's not out here doing nothing that Brittney has done. And I know you're probably like, well, Brittney ain't no Beyonce, and you're correct. She is not. But she is a prominent woman and one of the faces of NFL football for wives right now. If you don't believe me or you don't agree with me, that's perfectly fine. But Patrick Mahomes is one of the most talked about, and he's going into that category of being one of the greatest football players of all time, and they're connected. You know, we wouldn't know her if we didn't know him. You get what I'm saying? So I just feel like she needs to stay off the internet, and I really want to know what's going on with the bromance. What's going on with the bromance? Because I really, 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 really want to know. Okay? I want to know. If y'all know something that I don't know, leave it in the comments for me right now. Okay? We're going to move on. Now, I threw this segment in here because I forgot to bring it up on my football show, which is the Pretty Spectacular Football Show. Now, Dan Campbell has had to move. So this house moved because of safety. So he is being harassed by Detroit fans. And he came out and said, I'm being harassed by Detroit fans ever since we've lost. And it really has started with the NFC Championship game. And then, us losing some games, losing in the playoffs or whatever have it. And I just feel like that is such an evil thing. Like, Dan Campbell had revived that entire franchise. And because they're losing some games, you now want to harass him? You should be praising him. It should be protect Dan Campbell at all costs. Like, what are we doing here? And what makes it worse is after the development came out a little bit and the police reports were shared, they got his address from one of his daughter's classmates. So y'all getting into it and putting the kids into it. Y'all involving children into this. This is not okay. This is not okay. The fact that he had to sell his home and move for safety. So I'm assuming this time maybe the home or whatever will be under somebody else's name, or maybe be under a trust or in an LLC, or he just gonna be like, I'm gonna rent, and we gonna try to keep things as low key as possible. At this point, when he leaves the front door, he need an umbrella, sunglasses, a jacket, and he need to get into one of them like presidential cars, the black cars, like an Uber X. Okay, get into the Uber X, have it blacked out, and just do your thing. But I think that is really crazy. I love me some Dan Campbell, and I think it's absolutely absurd that Detroit is treating him this way. And I know it's not everybody, but the fact of the matter is, it's always that one bad apple that ruins the whole entire bunch. And that's just the way that it goes. So now Detroit has a negative light on them because the man who's helped save the franchise and revamp it after so many years, you're now harassing him because you didn't get exactly what you wanted. I think that's so low. It's so low to me. Another topic that, and it's going to be my last topic of the night, that really just rubbed me the wrong way in a lot of different ways, is the fact of this whole Reggie Bush thing. And I wanted to make sure that before I brought it to you that I got all of the details that I could gather, and I understood exactly what was going on, and I understand the predicament of what was happening. Okay, because like I said, I come on here, give y'all some tea, give y'all some opinions, but I also like to give y'all some facts. I don't want to come on here without knowing all of the facts because I like to keep my credibility. Okay, get into it. Now, Reggie Bush, he did get his Heisman back. So I want to put that out. He gets his Heisman back, and then after he gets his Heisman back, he decides, oh no, I'm not done with y'all. I still got beef with y'all. I'm coming for it all, and now I am suing USC, University of Southern California, Pac-12, and the NCAA for his name, image, and likeliness compensation that he feels that he is owed and due. I'm going to give a disclaimer before I go all into it. I'm not saying that he should not get paid for his NIL. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying he should just be grateful that he got his Heisman back. I'm not saying that at all either. What I'm saying is we cannot say that he was not compensated, because when I did more research and into it, I'm about to get into it with y'all, it is making me raise an eye, say, Reggie, are you sure that this is the fight that you want to fight? Okay, granted, he is one of the greatest college athletes of all time and NFL athletes of all time. We know what he's done. We know the impact that he's had, and rightfully so. During the time when he was in school, he went in the early 2000s, there were no such thing as NIL deals or money. You were essentially getting paid. You were getting paid under the table. How you do it, putting the money in the McDonald's bag and say, here is your meal for the day, and you open it up, you got money, you got gifts, watches, cars, you got compensated in other ways. They felt as though that they could compensate you because they been knew that athletes needed to get paid and they deserve to have some type of compensation. So I'm going to read the facts that I found. So he lost his Heisman due to breaking rules and receiving impermissible gifts. Him and his family received gifts and benefits while he was at USC. So like they said, money, they said gifts and other things that he received, him and his family. Okay, he won the Heisman in 2005, and then he was forfeited of it in 2010 when they did the investigation and found out that he did break the rules, because at the time you are not supposed to be getting paid or receiving gifts or receiving anything while you were in school, because they wanted to keep the amateurism of football. And I kind of think, I mean, where it is now, I feel like NIL is kind of ruining college sports a little bit. I do feel like you do need to have some type of amateurism there. I just feel like they could have done it a much better way. You know, it's like now players not even going to different schools. They stop playing because they're like, I want this certain amount of money. I want this. It's like now it's all about money and the value that you can get, and less about the actual sport and doing what you love. But I have already gotten to that. And I feel the way that I feel. Nobody's going to be able to change my mind per se. And like I'm saying, I'm not saying they should not get paid for what they do. I'm not saying that at all. But I think there should have been a different methodology and a different way that it was done. So that way it could be a little bit more fair across all boards, because not all students are actually getting paid for their name, image, and likeness, because they probably don't have it as much. But moving on from that. In 2021, April of 2021, he did receive his Heisman back. The Heisman Trust, which is a completely different entity from the NCAA, looked at it and was like, okay, well, since the NCAA and the Supreme Court ruled that students should be getting paid for NIL, they was like, okay, well, since he was getting paid for it anyway, and now that it's no longer breaking the rules, we can give him his Heisman back. He rightfully took that Heisman back. The Heisman portrait is now up in the Heisman house and all those other great things. Now, he is suing them for multiple reasons. The first is to stop using his NIL used for profit. He's saying that they're still using his name, image, and likeness to this day, and they're not paying him now. So he wants them to stop doing that. He wants to be able to do his own, PR stuff. And I agree. You shouldn't be using my name. You shouldn't be using me at all if you're not paying me in any way. So I do agree with that. You should be suing for that, and they should just stop using you. I didn't know that they were still using him. The only people I know now is, like Caleb Williams and things, who have been, aspects of continuing their legacy and their history of USC football. So I didn't know that they were still using it, but if they are, I do agree that it should stop. He's also saying that he wants a share of the money that they made while he was there. And like I said before, they're making claims that they have used him so much and they have not given him not one penny. Currently, they might not be giving him one penny, and I think that just calls for a contract negotiation maybe, or just to stop using him altogether. But he is a part of their history for football, so maybe you should do a contract, right? Now, what I don't really understand and I don't really agree is you're paying them for money that they have made back in between 2000 and I guess 2005 when you were there and he was playing. Would that not then reopen the can of worms, which got you to forfeit that Heisman in the first place? Are they going to have to pull together their charts and things? It's like, well, technically, Reggie, we did pay you illegally. We paid you this amount of money. We made sure you had a car. Your mama had a car. We bought the house that your mama live in. Like all these other stuff. Like, is that not going to open up another can of biscuits to really say, like, you can't say we did not pay you, because we paid you. But then also, all the other players who played before NIL became a thing, are they going to now sue the NCAA and their universities and the conference? Like, I get it. You want your money, you want what's earned, what's due to you. But at the end of the day, like, if you look at it, they're not going to have any more money to give. The NCAA is going to be bled dry. Like, it's going to dissipate. And it's just like, I don't think that part of the lawsuit is right, because you've already made money. You maybe didn't make as much as you could have made, but you did make something, because they wouldn't have took your Heisman away if you didn't make anything, if you didn't break the rules back then, So it's kind of like, it's a sticky, icky situation, and I really don't like it. But I do agree with they should stop using him currently if they are, because if you're not paying him, then don't use him. But trying to sue for past work and things like that, like, how could you put a monetary, I don't know. Obviously, they must have kept records, and maybe they'll say, oh, well, we made this amount off of him, this amount of him. But like I said before, they were giving him gifts and money and things like that. So they were paying him. They were paying him under the table in a McDonald's bag, and they made sure that his family was taken care of as well. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this to really see, how this turns out, how it goes, and if there's any new updates and things, because that's really just one of those things. It's like, I don't know, Reggie. I don't know. I agree with half of this lawsuit. Half. Okay. But I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that all comes about. I want to know like how many other athletes are going to try to sue. Maybe they'll wait and see what happens. Maybe they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see. Because if it doesn't work out with Reggie, then it's probably not going to work out with me. And I won't even waste my time and money because you're going to have to pay them legal fees regardless, no matter which way. They may try to settle this out very hushly, but you never really know. You never really know how it's going to go. So I'm definitely going to keep tabs on that. And the last thing that I want to say, because I have to wrap up this show, is that we are going to be moving into the Pretty Playbook podcast that is going to be coming out in, I will say, middle of October, because October is my birthday month. So we're going to start season 2 of that podcast, and I'm super excited about it. You can find it on almost all the major platforms. I did just get approval for Apple Podcasts, so it's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, HERstory. So the biggest places that you guys could hear this podcast, and season 1 is still up. You can please go check out the Pretty Playbook podcast on Spotify and iHeartRadio. That really helps me get my numbers up. It really helps me to be able to push more content. And I'm also looking for some sponsorships for the podcast, because there are some amazing people and some amazing interviews that I have on there for this season. And I really can't wait to get you guys. I can't wait to release it for you guys, because it is really, 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 really that dope and that important. But without further ado, I am wrapping up Locker Talk for today's show. Make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing, following on all social media platforms at PG Love Sports. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, pretty.